child benefit is obviously a payment that's made to people with children in order to help them with the quite extensive costs of bringing children who are, when all said and done, future taxpayers up during their formative years. So in 2013, originally it wasn't means tested. That's the starting point. In 2013, the government brought in rules by which how much child benefit was dependent on the highest earner in the family, and it was reduced, so it was claimed back if somebody in the family earned over £50,000. Okay, so it's been identified that that is unfair. Now, if you consider a family where both the partners are working, then if both partners were, let's say, earning £45,000 a year, then that would mean that there would be no reduction in child benefit, whereas under the current rules, it would be unfair where you've got a non-working partner and a partner who is then earning that £90,000 and would effectively lose all of that child benefit or have to repay it back. So in terms of the recognition of that lack of fairness, that has been formally recognised within the budget and will be dealt with in the coming months. In the meantime, what's happened is the threshold for child benefit is increased from 50,000 to 60,000. So the rules haven't changed yet, but by increasing that threshold, it's estimated that that'll take 170,000 families out of the calculation point. So that's a real positive for those families. In addition to that, what they've also done is to reduce the rate at which the child benefit is reclaimed for those that earn more than £60,000. So that will mean again that those reductions will be lessened in comparison to where they are today. So again, what we've got is a situation where those claiming child benefit, a significant proportion of the population will be much better off than they are currently under the existing rules. So the reduction in capital gains tax for those higher earners has come down from 28% to 24%. So quite a significant reduction in the tax that would be payable by those higher rate earners. The base rate for basic rate taxpayers is still 18%, so there's been no change in terms of that. Quite obviously, for anybody who is looking to sell a property before perhaps the general election and the possibility of a new government, paying less capital gains tax on that transaction may well be a benefit for them. For those that decide that perhaps they are going to sell a property because of the removal of the furnished property letting tax regime changing or being removed, then again it may well give them a sweetener in order to release those properties back into the market. So the abolition of that piece of legislation was primarily because it provided people who were letting out properties partly furnished, it gave them some very significant advantages over landlords who let in the long term. So things like it would provide them with on sale the ability to claim capital gains tax at only 10% as opposed to the rate applicable to property. It would provide for the income allowing contribution to pensions, where it wouldn't be on a long let situation. It would provide for mortgage interest to be reclaimed or used as a deduction against profits at 100%, whereas that isn't available. So there are significant benefits that were basically meaning it became too popular and abused. There's been a lot of talk within certain areas of the UK of this type of let being overused or creating greater demand within that marketplace and resulting in prices rising and people locals to that area just not being able to afford to buy property in that area. So I think a big reason for the removal of it is to perhaps encourage markets to settle down. It will for people using it at the moment, it will effectively reduce their profitability, and in reducing their profitability, that may lead many of them to decide to sell rather than continue to let out on that basis, and level the playing field going forward.